and welcome. Let me just sort this out. Welcome to today's very first LinkedIn Live with people. This was supposed to be a test, but it is now live. I'm Craig Keegan, and I've had the privilege of being featured on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, and even earning a #1 Amazon bestseller badge credentials. I host 2 podcasts, the M&A Profits Lessons from the Trenches and the DEC Mastermind. I've written over 200 LinkedIn articles in the last 12 months. I am not a dentist, so we will not be discussing clinical things at all. What I actually do is I help dentists understand the true value of their practice and how to capture it. Today we're tackling a critical issue I see every day, and that is, why do smaller dental practices only sell for about 30% of their true worth? We'll cover exactly why that valuation gap exists, who the buyers really are, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Plus, I'll introduce you to 2 key frameworks that can radically increase your practice's value and open up more exit options. Those are the 14 pillars of business and the 11 exit strategies. That's a lot that we're going to cover, but it's all very important and crucial for you to go from where you are now to way beyond what you ever expected you could. But let's get into it. The value gap. Why only 30%? Why only 30% of the value? Let's dive into the core problem. Smaller dental practices frequently sell for only around 30% of their true potential value. Why? First of all, most of these businesses are highly dependent on the founder, the owner, who is most often the practice manager. When a practice's profitability and operations hinge on one person, buyers see significant risks. And what happens if that dentist leaves? That is crucial. If they see a risk, the value of your business goes down. And this is with any business. Second, many practices lack formalised systems in HR, accounting, marketing and workflow, making them inefficient with thin margins. And this creates uncertainty and cost for any buyer looking to scale. They're buying 2 things. They're buying your client list, they're buying your systems and processes. If you don't have those there, again, the value of your practice goes down. Third, many owners sell without adequate preparation or a clear exit plan, and this pushes them into distress sales or fire sales, further reducing the value. People often ask me, so when should I plan to exit? You start planning to exit the day you buy, and then you look at it on an ongoing basis thereafter. The reason for that is you don't know when you're going to exit. You don't know what the future holds. You always need to be ready to exit. And most practices are set up for tax purposes, not for exiting. Now, you're never going to make a generational change by having your business structured for tax. You will if you structure it for an exit. Finally, the dental industry is now heavily dominated by roll-up buyers, large private equity groups and strategic consolidators who demand scale, systemization, strong EBITDA to pay premium prices. Do you like that? Well, maybe not. Is it the truth? Yes, it is. It's reality. And if you don't accept that, then you are not going to be able to achieve anywhere near the value you deserve for your practice or practices. as the case may be. So, who are the buyers? Now, who's buying dental practices today? Primarily, there are three groups. There's the private equity firms and large roll-ups. They buy dozens or even hundreds of practices, depending on the country, consolidate them, introduce systems and scales of economies, and command much higher multiples, typically 7 to 9 times EBITDA. Now, these are people that have a mission. They've got a plan. They know what they're doing. And they are going to get the job done and get the maximum value out of the practices. You can be part of that, or you cannot be part of it. The choice is always yours. Strategic buyers or competitors. And these are established groups seeking geographic expansion or market share. These might be people that have labs and are looking for more dental practices, or vice versa, dental practices looking for labs. Things that can bolt onto the side of your business and, in the overall scheme of things, make your business more attractive and more valuable. That's what that's about. Individual dentists or associates. Typical buyers for smaller practices, but they usually have limited capital and pay far lower prices because they lack the scale and operational sophistication. This means smaller practices often face buyers who undervalue them due to risks and lack of scalability. These are the ones that dental brokers, as an example, are going to be selling your practice to. They're going to be getting much lower value because it's a one-for-one. They're going to be taking over your business as is and running it as is. They don't have a big plan in mind. As a result, they don't have the finances and the infrastructure behind them to give you the value that you really need and want for your practice. So what can we do about this? Well, you've been to dental school, you've learned how to be a great dentist. Most often though, I haven't come across a dental school that actually teaches business practices. So there are 14 pillars to any business. So what's the way forward? How do you increase your dental practices, true value, and attract better buyers? And the answer is building a stable, systemized practice. You keep hearing this, I know. One that can run without you, has documented processes, strong financial controls, and sustainable growth. This is where the 14 pillars of business come in. And the core areas every practice should optimize. And that's AI and automation to reduce manual workload, accounting and financial transparency for decision making, clinical excellence standards for patient care and compliance, leadership coaching to reduce owner dependency, HR and payroll systems for staffing and compliance, IT and cybersecurity integration, legal risk management, marketing for patient acquisition and retention, practice management, software adoption, property and purchasing, strategies to reduce overheads, sales skills development, ongoing training to keep staff sharp. And each pillar adds to the foundation that transforms your practice from a one-person show into a robust, transferable enterprise. Those 14 pillars are what you need to build any business on. Now, most dental practices are only working on 5 of those, out of the 14, they're working on 5. And of those 5, they've really only optimised about 70% of those 5. That means there is a lot of work to do to maximise the value of your practice, all of which is achievable. How? Well, let's get into it. So what can be done? Well, first of all, you need to understand the 11 exit strategies. Equally important is planning your exit strategy. There is no one size fits all. So we'll go through all 11. Every practice should know, ranging from least to most strategic. Now, this doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. And that's shut down and walk away. And how does this occur? Well, it might be a distressed or forced sale. The worst case might be that the founder walks out the door, gets run over by a bus, leaves the practice in the hands of their partner, who isn't a dental practitioner, doesn't know anything about the practice. What are they supposed to do? It takes 6 to 9 months most often to sell a practice using a broker. That's a long time. So you have a fire sale. You get it over and done with straight away. Obviously, the value of the business goes down immensely with that. So delayed sale with leaseback. Phase sale over time. Sell to an associate or an internal team. Sell and stay on as an employee. Absentee ownership. Passive investor role. Sell and walk away immediately with a full exit. Merge with a competitor. For scale, roll-up strategy. Combine multiple practices. Or what I do is a cooperative roll-up where ownership is maintained by you at all times. So the question is, which exit you choose depends on your goals. The timeline and the business strength. Early planning using these options can dramatically increase sale proceeds and reduce stress. If you're not ready to exit, if your business is not ready to exit and you are, for some reason you need to exit, the value of your business is going to be much, much lower than what it should be and what you deserve. Planning an exit is crucial. You need to lay it out, but you need more than one plan because anything can happen. You need to have multiple plans. But the good news is the fundamentals are the same. Systemization. Set your business up for an exit rather than tax optimization. Making yourself redundant, so to speak, as a practicing dentist within the organization. If you can do that, making yourself redundant from an administrative perspective, that is always going to increase the value no matter what exit strategy you choose. So I want to go through a bit of an example, and this is a little dated admittedly, but let me share a quick success story. A 2-chair practice, struggling with cash flow and owner burnout, joined a dental shared service cooperative. Within 12 months, by centralising their HR, their payroll, supply, purchasing, marketing, the practice reduced their costs by 20%, increasing their EBITDA by 30%, and doubled patient retention rates. So when the doctor decided to sell, offers came at 2.5 times multiple compared to just 0.6 previously. They chose a phased sale over time, staying on part-time for a smooth transition and yielding a higher overall return and preserving the patient experience and the income for the dental practitioner. Now, as I said, those multiples are much lower than what you're going to get, admittedly, and what we're dealing with now. But it did show how it went from 0.6 to 2.5. That's a huge jump. Now, if we can do similar sorts of jumps with your practice, that's exceptional. If you're sitting at 4.5 to 5 right now, and we can jump that up to 8 times, that would be exceptional for you. That would really make a life-changing difference for you. So, to summarise, smaller dental practices sell for a fraction of their true value because they lack systems, scale, and strategic exit planning. By applying the 14 pillars of business to build a scalable model and choosing from the 11 exit strategies that fit your goals. And you need to lay out what your goals are, what the scenarios are, what the risks are, and then choose an exit strategy for each of those. Lay that out and then give it off to your partner, off to your business partner, off to your lawyer, and let them understand how you've planned this out. You can increase your value, attract better buyers, and achieve an exit on your terms. That's what it's about, doing it on your terms. If you want to learn more, I invite you to book an appointment with me. Let's have a chat and see what we can do. Now, the plan is that these live sessions will be going every week at the same time. So register for the next one. Also encourage you to check out the podcast as well, where we've got great interviews with leaders around the world. Now, what we haven't covered today, and we will cover in further sessions, is those 14 pillars. How can I help you with that? And what is the DEC Shared Business Group? What is the Dental Exit Cooperative all about? The number one thing that I've found with founders and practice owners is that they want to ensure the best services provided to their clients. They also want to have total control. Well, that's what I allow you to do, because I will never own your business. What I will do is show you how to get the most out of your business. I'm not going to be teaching you about clinical stuff, certainly. As I said straight up the front, I'm not a dentist. What I do is I help you with your dental practices and grow your numbers at the back end, allowing you to grow your numbers at the front end and keep control of your practice and plan for an exit that you could not dream of. Thank you very much. This was the first episode. It is not going to be the last.